What do you think about, the saying that everybody want to be black until it's time to be black?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, man. I've had my moments, man, where like I've lived in Virginia for a while, but it doesn't matter where you at. Prejudice can be anywhere. And when you go through those moments, I mean, I remember being a young black brother when I was 17, 18, 19, whatever, and getting pulled over by the cops and just being scared, man. And why? Why am I scared? I'm not doing nothing wrong. I'm not riding dirty, but it's just because I know that it could just go wrong for no
Hmm.
reason. So yeah, those are the times where it's like, yeah, okay, you want to embrace what we are if you're not that, right? But you don't really know what it is to go through some of the emotional things we had to go through to just survive. Like I walk down the street, I don't look over my shoulder because I passed that age. Once you get past 26, it's kind of like they don't bother you. But when you're a young black man, it's rough, man. It's rough, and it's rules to this, man. I got two sons, man. I got two daughters. I got to teach them how to stand up and be righteous, but at the same time know how to speak, know how to your body language. How to conduct yourself in a situation, and know when you see something, you got to keep it moving. You can't, you got to be fast on your toes, man. And that's part of that. Like it's cool and hip when you see the swag and you want to be part of this culture, but it's a lot that comes with it. It's a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and you gotta always be on your A game. Even if you work in a 9 to 5, like you have to sometimes show a different level of integrity to make people feel comfortable.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, let me
I
let me
mean,
ask you this, right? Because it's like I feel like black people are the most influential people in the world because of the culture, right? Everybody thinks black people are so smooth, the way that, you dress, the way that you can talk, the confidence, everything, right? But why are black people so hated then if they're so admired and copied in that way? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's such a strange thing when you think about it.
when you think about racism, right, especially in America, like let's just speak about that to combat or defend what you're saying. When you speak about racism here in America, it's been systematically set up in a way where we have become inferior. It's just as of late, and we still have inferior moments, but it's just as of late that you see a lot of successful black people. But there were guidelines set up, right, to keep you from being successful. So those guidelines that were set up by the federal government, by slave owners, by different people, you got the Willie Lynch syndrome, you got redlining, you have, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with the things that I'm speaking of, but there were a lot of things in housing and the way that school systems went. Of course, we all know, and the way that we were pitted against each other that made us who we are, but at the same time put fear in a lot of other cultures because of how we were perpetuated over hundreds of years of time.
Mm.
So it takes a lot of time. Now, if it took 400 years to build that systematically, how long is it going to take for you to break that down? There's some people that don't even, they're not even aware like of what has been set up strategically in the sense of they just change with time. So give you a synopsis when I said Willie Lynch, right? It was to pit people against each other, the black culture, and then make sure they had women and children watching. The big one fight the tall one, the light skinned one fight the dark skinned one, so that there could be that division and never be that unity. And that was systematically done for control, right? Now You have gangs where it started with the Bloods versus the Crips, this versus that. And it's just changed over time, but it's the same system. They just took it to another level for what the times are, and people don't pay attention. So if you pay attention to history and you learn from that, then you could figure a way to get out of it. Our culture has been put down in so many ways that people love it but are scared of it because it is very superior, like you said, in a lot of ways across the board. I mean, Africa's the most, richest land. It has all the natural resources to feed the whole world. Now, why do you think they took people from there? These people weren't slaves when they were there. Some were kings. They were living regular lives and was taken out of that situation and put into this new world with this new culture that was cultivating them to become who we became for a long period of time. So now, here we are. People have elevated because of opportunities, but it's still some people, bro, that are stuck in that old structure and they don't know how to get out because that's all they were ever taught. That's all they ever saw. So you can look down on them, but they just don't know any better. They don't have the knowledge, the wisdom, or the understanding of where they are, why they're there, and how to get out of it. And that's the problem. That's why the culture is one of the most superior and strongest cultures, but we still got a lot of problems. We're probably the most ununified culture in the world as well. You go to all these different cultures and you see these events and these situations that bring people together. We come together, we end up shooting, killing, and fighting people at times. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of ignorant people that don't have that knowledge and wisdom of why they're there. You're there to celebrate. You're not there to find your enemy that you think is your enemy. That's not really your enemy. It was created that way for you to feel that and take a moment to gun them down. That's, I hate to say it, man, but it's going to take a village, man. And the villages aren't there the way they used to be. They've been divided and conquered, and it's like every man for himself. And I think that the economical culture now has made that another problem, where it's like everyone's just trying to get that so-called bag. But all right, but okay, you get that bag. What are you doing for your people? You know,
And
we
I think that you're right, because you hear a lot of times black people always say that, like, you see all these other communities stay together on code, right? They unify and they on these different causes and stuff like that. But they always talk about how black people are so divided that it's like that black self-hatred runs deep. That's why they're always fighting each other.
and it's unconsciously. It's been embedded for so long, that that's why some people still live by that because they don't know, like, yo, I'm doing this because I was taught to be this way. It's not because that's who I should be. This is how I was taught to be. I gotta go fight this brother to get mine. So, no, why can't we come together and get it together? You look at the situation where they had Black Wall Street. They were bombed. That was burnt down because these people had everything on their own banks, their own shops, their own, community. And now a lot of those people are buried under a highway. Like, that was all systematically done to hide what was going on. Like then you can't even. You got to go back to what elders? Where are these elders at? They're dead. It's only a few people that are left from that time period that can explain to you what was going on. And if we knew that knowledge and we understood how they got there and what they did, there would be a lot more people that are successful. But they hide that because they don't want you to do that. They don't want you to be that successful. They don't want that. That's why the powers that be stopped it. And again, man, there's people out there though that are knowledgeable and they're full of culture and they're bringing people together. But it's just like it's not a majority; it's a minority of people doing it. We need more people to come together and keep the dollar in the community, and support your black businesses, support how to make things together as one again, it takes knowledge, and it takes for people to go out and each one teach one. You know, you can't just sit around and wait for it to happen. You got to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.